short stories. This is where anybody out in the anybody can submit clips, some of their stories that they're working on, and kind of this is more of a showcase of some of the talent that we're gonna be having coming on here, and part of the people that are going to be talking about photojournalism, editorial photography. There's um really there's a lot of places that we can use these we do stories for, whether it's video for broadcast or photos for newspapers or websites, or even doing it for organizations, for companies. And we all do the same thing. We're here to take editorial photography and help tell stories. So the first one is, unfortunately, he couldn't be here today, but our first photographer is Chris Riley. Now, Chris only sent me one photograph. So, for all of those of you who are watching this, not during the live Zoom audience, but this is going to be recorded and put out to share with everybody else. And so make sure you guys share this. I'm gonna eventually get a YouTube channel for it so that we can all share, subscribe, like, all that kind of stuff. But so our first photographer is Chris Riley, and he's did this story in I think it's I wish he was on, he could explain it more, but kind of got a cool photograph of the Blue Angels with the moon. But hopefully some people will get the idea and start sending in more stills and more singles so that we can do like a whole bunch of singles. The next one that we have here, we have from Pete De Silva. Is Pete on yet? No, I don't know that he's gonna be on tonight. Okay. So this is just pictures that he took of the campfire. There's some pretty interesting photographs in here. Um, he was telling me in his email that part of the stories that he did for this, and we'll see part of it coming up in a minute, is something with horses, like trying to help. Some of the horses were left behind while people were escaping, and there was some part of the story was about the horses coming back, rescuing the horses and the wildlife or animals. It's always scary
Do you know
how
where
much.
this was?
What's that?
Do you know where this was? Where the fire
Uh,
was?
it,
Did he say?
it's the campfire. It's in California. I don't remember exactly where it's at, but because this has happened recently, a lot more
Yeah,
recent.
I want to say this is Northern California, and it
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's probably.
may be north of Santa Cruz,
I
if I
yeah,
remember correctly.
I think you're right. I think it's right around Santa Cruz. I was thinking I saw this picture and thought it was very interesting how the Jack in the Box sign is the only thing that survived on that. I think this is one of my favorite pictures of this. The one with the deers.
Yeah. It was
It's just
actually in Butte County, November 8th, 2018.
oh wow. Okay.
but it is, yeah, it's definitely called a campfire.
Mhm. That was after, this was after the um what's it called? Paradise.
Right.
I was living in Stockton at the time, and I do remember now, I remember a little bit more on this because I remember Paradise and the campfires, the smoke settled into the valley in California. And it was literally like being in Armageddon.
Well, it blew up our way too. And then year or so after that, we had the Alameda fire right in my valley.
Hmm. Oh, that's right. And up in Portland, right?
No, Portland's on the opposite side of the state.
Right.
This is in southern Oregon.
Okay. I
About
remember
24 miles, about 24 miles from the Oregon-California border.
Okay.
Similar to these, it displaced a lot of people, and they're still working through that.
Oh, I know. I know. So now we have David's. So David, you want to kind of explain what was going on in some of these photographs?
Yeah, so I shot these photos last week or so in Mexico City. There was a big International Women's Day march that happened through the city, and I didn't plan to be there. I was having coffee and just noticed a bunch of people moving, and so I decided to just pack my gear up and just see what was going on, and followed about 180,000 people, mostly women, as they marched through Mexico City from the Angel of Independence to the Zocalo. And so, what you're seeing here is largely a peaceful protest. Uh, people just letting their voices be heard as far as, marching for equality, marching to end femicide, marching to end kidnappings and disappearances, that kind of thing. So what I think I'm going to do with these photos is probably create a zine using these images as well as images from protest in 2020 here in Los Angeles during the George Floyd, during those protests, and then some protest photos from the Roe versus Wade protests in Los Angeles a couple of years ago.
So something on protesting.
Yeah, I think after spending a few days in Mexico City just staring at these, I think that's something I want to do.
I
So
wonder if you could do because I mean I know with this one we'll be seeing the video that you sent me, but I wonder if you could do something like digital on this, do like a digital, almost like an app.
maybe I'm not super versed in the app world with crypto, blockchain, anything. So um, I imagine there probably is some possibility there. I don't know what it could be.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking because I know one of the things that I did when was a grad student at San Jose State is we created basically uh we created an interactive stories
Mhm.
that people can kind of go through like on their own pace, and then there's like an integration of video and um photography and articles that kind of went together, and it was kind of it was an interesting way of presenting it that's an
Yeah,
alternative to a book, you know.
yeah,
In a lot of ways, and it's still something that you can make a little bit of money off of because you can sell the app over either Android or um, either Android or the App Store.
Yeah.
And